Good morning, everybody. I want to talk about the news of the day from Washington and also an important new announcement we'll be making here in New York City right now. But first, I want to give you the big picture. Once again, we got to really focus on where we're at this exact moment, what Omicron means, what it means now, where it's going, what it means for New York City, what it means for all of us. So here's the bottom line. As Dr. Choksi said yesterday, it's going to be a challenging few weeks. There's no question about it. We're seeing a big upsurge in cases. Thankfully, in general, they seem more mild, and thankfully, our healthcare system is well positioned in this city to deal with it. But it will be a tough few weeks, and we need to understand that, and we need to do everything possible to address that. But look, this is going to be a temporary reality, and I want to emphasize that. What we're seeing so far from Omicron is a very fast upsurge and then goes back down again. That's based on what we've seen in other parts of the world. We are preparing for that kind of very fast scenario. And that means we got to keep focused on the big picture, which is to keep this city moving forward. To remember, we got to keep building our recovery. We got to keep everyone safe. And the way to do that is vaccination. What unites all the strategies is vaccination. Vaccination is the way to protect ourselves against Omicron. Vaccination is the way to continue our recovery. Vaccination is the way for people to live their lives again. Vaccination equals freedom. So that's going to be our focus in all of our strategies. When it comes to vaccination, New York City is ready, and we need you to be ready too. We need you to do your part. Everyone who has not yet gotten vaccinated, it's time. Everyone who can get that booster, it's time. Everyone who has a young child not yet vaccinated, it's time. So this city is ready to make sure that everyone gets vaccinated, everyone gets that booster, and that's the way we move through these challenging few weeks. And the other important point is, adamantly, I feel this, no more shutdowns. We've been through them. They were devastating. We can't go through it again. In this case, we weathered the storm because we were prepared with a high level of vaccination already. We were prepared with a strong healthcare system. We're prepared to get through. We need to all work together now to get through these weeks, come out the other side, continue our recovery, but no shutdowns, because that would devastate the lives of so many New Yorkers. Okay, with that overview, here's the news of the day. First from Washington, good news, and very thankful to President Biden, who continues to come up with new approaches to help address COVID, continues to respond whenever New York City needs help. And I want to thank him for that. We've gotten word there will be additional federal testing sites in New York City. That's going to help. There's obviously a huge demand for testing. We're increasing the city sites to 112 sites, fixed sites and mobile sites by the end of this week. Federal government's coming in to help. They're going to be up and running in the next few days. That's extremely helpful and important. I've been talking to the president's COVID czar, Jeff Zients, who has been always responsive with his team, always responsive to New York City. We're trying to get a major new shipment of at-home tests as well. So we're going to hear from the president this afternoon with more details. But what we're hearing so far is going to be really helpful to get us through these next few weeks. Now, when it comes to what we're going to do here, well, let's again frame this. As we said at the start of this week, we now have over 6 million adult New Yorkers who have had already one dose at least. Over 6 million adults in this city have had one dose. That's amazing. Over 600,000 young people. That's fantastic. We need that number to go up more. But New York City's been leading the way with high levels of vaccination. It's made all the difference. It's made us strong and resilient compared to so many other places, but we got to double down. And one of the ways to double down is with boosters. Boosters are absolutely key at this moment. We need everyone to focus on boosters. If you're eligible, it's time. It will make all the difference. Now, we heard great news yesterday from Moderna that their booster increases the antibody levels that are necessary to fight Omicron. And that is crucial. We have more and more evidence of the impact boosters can have in fighting off Omicron. This is a crucial piece of the equation. So if you're vaccinated, that's great. But if you want that extra protection, go get that booster now. We want everyone right now, as quickly as possible, to get those boosters. And we're going to make it even better for you with a new incentive, and an incentive that is here just in time for the holidays, because Every one of us knows when we're out there shopping for our families, it would be nice to have a little extra cash. So as of today, we're announcing a $100 incentive for everyone who goes out and gets a booster here in New York City between now and the end of the year. So it's a limited time opportunity over these next days. Get your booster shot, get a $100 incentive. It's going to make you feel a lot safer, a lot better that you got the booster, and you'll have some more cash in your pocket at the same time. That's going to be a good feeling, particularly this time of year. You can go to any of the city-run sites that provide vaccination, or you can go to our partner Somos clinics and practices as well. So that $100 incentive, you'll get that quickly. That is now, today, if you go and get your booster today, through December 31st. So again, limited time opportunity, but exactly the time we need New Yorkers to go out and get their booster. This will be by far the biggest booster incentive program in the United States of America. And I want to see New Yorkers respond. This is the moment. Come out in real big numbers. Get those booster shots and help make your family safer and help make this whole city safer. With more about why boosters matter and why they are so effective, I bring you the city's doctor, our health commissioner, Dr. Dave Choksi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. More than a month ago, I issued a commissioner's advisory calling on everyone to get a booster dose of COVID-19 vaccine when it was their time, and urging that providers not turn anyone away due to eligibility considerations. That was because even then, the science was clear about the benefits of booster doses. Since then, Omicron has made booster doses even more important and urgent. Yesterday, the CDC estimated that Omicron is now responsible for an approximate 93% of cases in the New York City region. But while the evidence is still emerging, thus far it indicates that an additional dose of Pfizer or Moderna provides enhanced protection against both infection as well as disease related to Omicron. Pfizer released preliminary laboratory data showing a 25-fold increase in protective antibodies after a third dose. And yesterday, as the mayor mentioned, Moderna released similar data showing a 37-fold increase. The way that we should think about this is that an additional dose helps keep your immunity up to date. Over 1.7 million booster doses have already been administered in New York City, and I thank each and every New Yorker who has stepped up to increase their own protection and reinforce our vaccination wall against this new wave. But we have more work to do, and we must do it quickly. That's why I'm grateful that the mayor announced the $100 incentive for booster shots across city sites. In total, over 1,000 sites are offering booster doses in New York City. Just visit nyc.gov/vaccine finder or call 877-VAX4NYC to get linked to one. Or we'll come to you. Just visit nyc.gov/home vaccine to schedule a booster dose at home. We can all play our part in this booster sprint. I know many New Yorkers will be spending time with their loved ones over the next few days, even if only virtually. Please urge them to get their booster dose, particularly if they're older or otherwise at higher risk. And a special note for those who received the J&J vaccine, I recommend a booster dose of either Moderna or Pfizer for anyone vaccinated with J&J at least 2 months ago. That means anytime before October 21st. So simply put, if you haven't yet gotten your booster dose, there is no better time than right now. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Choksi. What a clear, powerful message. And listen, 1.7 million New Yorkers have gotten a booster already. That's amazing. That's going to help everyone to stay safe, but there's a lot more New Yorkers who can get that booster, and starting today, you get that $100 incentive with it. A great additional reason to come out, but really the most important reason is what Dr. Choksi just said, the impact of the boosters, so crucial. Now, I want you to hear from one of the national voices on the whole challenge of the COVID era, and he has been speaking about the different strategies and approaches that are needed, and particularly recognizing this moment with Omicron. I want you to hear from him about what it means to focus on boosters, to have incentives like this, the kind of mandates we put in place on top of that. He is a professor of molecular medicine and a cardiologist. He is the founder and director of the SCRIPPS Research Translational Institute, someone who has really studied what we're going through and understands what we need to do to keep moving forward. My pleasure to introduce Dr. Eric Topol.
Thank you, Mayor de Blasio. I'm thrilled to join you, and I have to commend you for your efforts on this incentive program for boosters. It couldn't come at a more appropriate time when we're way behind in this country with the booster program. Unfortunately, we had all the data, as Dr. Chakshi reviewed, well before Omicron. In fact, we had the evidence of preventing death in all people over age 50 from Israel, from a very large study, by 90%. You don't see that very often, a 90% reduction in death. We also had another large study with reduction in hospitalizations or death in people over age 40 from the largest health system in Israel. We had a randomized trial of over 10,000 people with 3 shots of the Pfizer vaccine versus 2 shots and a placebo, and 95% reduction of symptomatic infections against all ages. The data were clear before Omicron appeared right around Thanksgiving. Now, what's happened with Omicron is that we have diminished protection from vaccines. Even with a booster, it is reduced to 75% from 95%. But that's the key. Without a booster, it's only a 35% protection. So that jump from 35 to 75% is a really big one. It's a more than double a protection. That's why the boosters are so darn important. So the fact that you are promoting this with this new incentive campaign for the rest of the year is fantastic. The leadership you provided in New York City is exemplary for all of us in the country. The rapid tests that you've been distributing, annotating the announcement today from the president, the distribution of high quality KN95 masks, which we can't have enough of, instead of just a plain cotton mask. These are the things that can protect us against Omicron. So thanks for your leadership in New York City. We can all learn a lot from you.
Well, Doctor, thank you so much. And you really laid it out beautifully how important it is for everyone to get that booster. Look, as we've seen throughout, vaccination is the key, but continuing to deepen the vaccination makes all the difference. And there's so many more people who would benefit from the booster. We hope this incentive inspires them further. And Doctor, thank you for your leadership, your strong voice, as we find the strategies that work to fight our way through the COVID era. Thank you very, very much. Now, everyone, remember, to get that incentive, you can go to any of the city-run vaccination sites. And again, the sites run by our partners, Somos, at their clinics and practices. So all of those sites available where you can get the booster and get the $100 incentive. But I also want you to know there's another great option, which is at-home vaccination. This is something we've made available for months and months. It's reached hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers really effectively. And any city resident who wants at-home vaccination, it can be scheduled. A vaccination team comes to you. By the way, they can provide vaccination for the whole family. Many people has want it, whether people need a first dose, a second dose, or a booster, or if different people in the family are at different points in their vaccine trajectory. The teams that come to your home have the ability to provide whatever help you need. And the $100 incentive is available for every family member. That's crucial to remember too. So if that's a better option for you, you can get at-home vaccination and get the incentive for everyone who needs a vaccination. You can go to